On this video, I'll show you how collaborators can use GitHub to coordinate their work. On the bottom left, there is the IntelliJ project that we created in our first videos. On the top, there is the GitHub version of that repository. And on the bottom right, there is the collaborator's point of view of the same project. Currently, they all agree on the timeline. There are 3 points with these descriptions. Now we create a new commit. I already changed the file, so we can just click on the check mark. You can see here the changes I wrote, and notice that now that the file is no longer new, I can be more selective and only commit certain chunks of changes by selecting and deselecting these boxes. We can then write a commit message and commit. Note that the timeline has changed here for us, but not for GitHub and not for our collaborators. To make our changes available to everyone, we can come here to Version Control System, Git Push. We are pushing our changes from our local machine to GitHub. Now that we pushed, we can come to GitHub and refresh the page to see the new commit. But our collaborators still don't see the change that is available on GitHub. They need to come to Version Control System, Git Pull. What they are doing here is pulling the changes from GitHub to their machines. In our example, there was only one commit. But when pushing and pulling, we are not necessarily just pushing and pulling one commit. We are pushing and pulling the whole timeline. So if there are multiple commits, they all get pushed to GitHub and pulled to the collaborator's machine. Every machine and GitHub have the whole history of the whole project. A problem may occur, however, when multiple collaborators are trying to push. Consider the following scenario. This collaborator has created a new commit and pushed to GitHub. But the second collaborator has not pulled yet and has created a commit as well. The timelines have diverged. And when this collaborator tries to push to GitHub, an error occurs. IntelliJ complains because the timelines have diverged and gives us a couple of options. We'll go with the default merge. Up to this commit, everyone agreed on the timeline. But then collaborator 1 and collaborator 2 created new commits, so the timeline diverged. When we selected merge as the option to solve the problem in IntelliJ, it reunited the two timelines by merging the two different commits, and now both the changes are available, both the changes that we created as collaborator 1 and the changes from here. Now we can go over the same process and see the changes propagate through GitHub and to this collaborator. We can just refresh the page on GitHub, and we can see the timeline merging here. And we can pull and see the timeline merging here as well. Now everyone agrees on the timeline again. This merge was automatic and successful because the collaborators changed different files or different lines on the same file. If different collaborators change the same lines on the same file, then Git asks you to solve the merge conflict because it cannot tell which version it should use. This is a manual interaction, and IntelliJ will give you a way to select which changes should be kept Sometimes even both changes should be kept. If there are only a few collaborators, then this workflow might work, but it's not enough for our group projects this semester. We don't want different collaborators that might be working on completely unrelated things to step on each other's toes like that. So on the next video, I will show you a feature that helps with that: branches.